Shemai, I'm Hannah, and welcome to the Purple Sector. So today I have the lovely KeiraMeganF1 on with me. Say hi. And we're going to be discussing the first two races in Berlin from the ABB Formula E Championship. So Keira, what did you think of the first two races so far?
You know what? They were very not Formula E in a way.
Yeah.
And it was very much really calm. It was like very controlled. No one was doing anything too silly. And I don't know whether it's because the fact that we are doing this many races in such a short amount of time that people aren't lunging it like they normally would. But don't think I was disappointed. I was just shocked at the difference of the fact that these drivers were not playing bumper cars like they normally do.
Yeah, like from watching early races in the season, I was expecting a few kind of more dicey moves. I think the second race definitely provided more dicey moves, and we'll get onto that in a bit. It was a little bit underwhelming. I was expecting a little bit more, expected a lot of the, especially top drivers, to be a lot closer than they were. So firstly, what did you think of qualifying for the sixth round?
You know, qualifying it's always difficult in Formula E anyway, because you have the group situation where you might be at the top of the championship, but you're going out in the group one, so you're already on the back foot because the track hasn't evolved. But I just can't get over Antonio Felix da Costa. And it wouldn't even be that bad if, say, Max Gunther or Mitch Evans were up there, but they qualified so badly, like in comparison.
Da Costa just seemed to be miles ahead of everyone else. Like the fact that Evans, I was rather disappointed, qualified ninth. I don't know where his pace had gone. And then people like Nick de Vries getting into Superpole, I was really impressed. Like he's definitely come on leaps and bounds. And to qualify fifth, I don't know where Nick de Vries has suddenly got all this pace from, but I'm quite happy to see it.
I'm liking it a lot. But yeah, no, it's really weird for Nick, because I thought, obviously, Formula E is so different to Formula 2. You know, you go from a Dallara built car to this electric car. You know, it's different. It's really different. And I was a little bit worried about him at the start of the season. I was quite worried whether, you know, he was going to really struggle. But really happy he's picked himself back up.
They always say Formula E is a very strange class drive because you have to do so much lifting, coasting, regen. It's like no other car practically in motorsport, and it takes a certain type of driver. That's why I think less and less you're seeing old F1 drivers come into Formula E. You're seeing a lot more endurance racers kind of making the switch over. Whereas before at the start, it was, Formula E is where if you can't get into F1 or you've been kicked out, you kind of go out to pasture, whereas now it's become kind of a fully fledged championship. I think also I suppose that how far the DS Tech Cheetahs, the fact that Verne was up in second as well for the qualifying, DS Tech Cheetahs just seem to be on a bit of a roll like this time round.
Yeah, they're really strong. I think obviously they're as strong as they are multiple world champions, but I still didn't expect them to be this far forward. I really didn't. They are doing a Mercedes in Formula 1, but this time in Formula E. And I don't know whether Mercedes and Porsche probably might have came in with higher expectations. I don't know. I don't think they thought that they would come in and DS Cheetah would be this far ahead, but they are. And obviously they've got such a strong lineup. I know we always say it, everyone says it, but them two drivers are amazing.
What I always found quite interesting was when Da Costa joined DS Cheetah, the fact that he's been in several different teams over the past couple of years, came in and everyone thought Jean-Eric Verne, two-time Formula E champion, he's going to wipe the floor with him. And then everyone's gone, this is why Da Costa should have been in F1. He's become such a mature and kind of level-headed driver.
Exactly, yeah, he's very mature. I think a lot of them get very hot-headed under the collar, especially on the radio. I think Jean-Eric Verne, apparently he was swearing in French at this race, so I think he was obviously bothered. Obviously, it's to be expected, but I guess it's easy to sit here and say, oh, Antonio isn't bothered, but he's, you know, out there in P1 like 3 seconds ahead. But I just still feel like he's a very calm guy. He's got a lovely personality. He's just an easy guy to get along with. He's an easy guy. He probably works well within the team as well. I think he probably, you know, fitted in really well. But yeah, Buemi and Degrassi and them lot, they are very different personalities. But it's nice to have a little bit of diversity within the personalities within the paddock.
Speaking on kind of Da Costa and Verne's kind of stuff, if we move on to the first race, so obviously Da Costa wins by over 5 seconds. Verne has a meltdown, shall we put it lightly. It was interesting seeing how Da Costa played that race because in Formula E, because of the regen strategy, you don't want to be pulling a massive gap. You don't want to be using too much energy. And especially when Byrne was kicking off over him not waiting for the beeps, which normally tell you when to coast, when to throttle, and when to regen. I think it's going to create some friction in the DS6 shooter carriage for the next couple of races.
Yeah, he wasn't too concerned about saving the energy. He was just going for it. It is weird. It's so weird to see a gap being pulled in Formula E. You just never see it. You normally always got to fight. The person is probably normally like, what, a second ahead, if that. Like, that's probably about as far as they normally go. So to see him just pull this gap, and I don't know, it's Vern will complain because he's in that situation, he's in P2, but if it was the other way around, would he, do the same thing? Probably, because they are there racing for themselves. And as you said, I don't know, it's just so difficult. It really is. But yeah, I think it was the last lap he could have, slowed down and, had one more lap, or no, took one lap away, sorry, from the timings, but he just went on and he carried on. And at the end of the day, you would, if you've got the energy left and you know you can make it around another lap, you wouldn't really slow down, because I think when he crossed the line, he still had 12 seconds. You can't stop for 12 seconds. You can't slow down for 12 seconds. It's not going to happen. So I completely understand why he's just racing around until the checkered flag comes out. But obviously that kind of didn't help a lot of the other drivers. I think Nico Müller ran out of energy because the teams, didn't quite target it right, and they didn't maybe expect another lap. But I do love it when the energy goes right down to the last minute. Like, we've really seen it, haven't we? I think at the start of Formula E, you'd get down to like 1 or 2%, and it'd be like, oh my god. But now you're getting down to like 0.01%. Like, Antonio crossed the line on zero. He had to on zero. He had to coast to the end, and I love that. I think that's amazing. But it's such a shame for them drivers that are like halfway around the final lap. And I think it happened to Massa today. He did it, and it's just amazing to see these drivers go completely to the end on their energy. And these teams are making it so precise to the absolute limit. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it was quite interesting time with the energy strategy, because obviously we all saw Da Costa and everyone was like, did he cross the line? Because it's that whole thing of that you can finish on zero, but if you go into what they call like negative energy, then you're instantly going to get disqualified. So, for example, Maximilian Gunther, I felt so bad for him. But yeah, I think with Maximilian Gunther, it was kind of a shame, and it's very much caught a lot of the drivers out. I think also you can very much tell which cars and which powertrains seem to be the most reliable. Because, like, for example, if you look at, say, the Neo cars, like, they're virtually nowhere most of the time. Turvey getting up to P15 in qualifying was a miracle. Like, I think it's just one of the things. I think for me, though, one of the drivers that has stood out on both races was Stoffel Van Dorn.
Yeah, Stoffel's done really well.
He's just been one of the drivers, like, very much he came to F1, he came to Formula E, he had a reputation of being in F1 and everyone thinking Alonso's out-qualified him, he's going to be rubbish. The fact that he's got to drive for Mercedes, I didn't think Mercedes were going to be as good as they were. And in the first race, he started 15th and finished 6th. And then in the second round, he started, it will come to me, started 13th and finished 5th. I wish he'd got on the podium. But that 3-car overtake, Stoffel didn't kind of get the memo of normally you don't go 3 into 1 going into a bend. And then he's dicing with Bird, Dyson Road, and manages to get past both. And I'm thinking, this is the kind of stuff I wish he'd seen him do in F1, but he's very much kind of making a name for himself. He's very kind of pushing himself up the championship, and it's really great. Yeah, who would you say is kind of your most like standout driver?
The Envision guys have done really well. As much as Robin is normally in really bad luck all the time, but Sam Bird's been really strong. We know Sam Bird's strong. He can set it down the inside of anybody, and he's shown that today. He was really fast. Obviously, Robin, his teammates, done really well. Andre Lotterer has been doing really well. Even Alex Lynn, I must say, today has done really, really well. Didn't expect him to qualify that well. He didn't exactly hold it in the race, but I kind of didn't expect him to in the way, and he did fall back as much as he could have done. I do not want to see Antonio Felix da Costa win every race. I don't want to see it. This is not what I expect from Formula E. As much as I love Antonio, I would like to see somebody else up there, especially one of the championship rivals, because they're nowhere.
Da Costa is now on, I think, 125. He's the first driver to ever get maximum 30 points. And now I think Degrassi's second, Van Dorn's third, Mitch Evans has gone from second to fourth. I think he's had an absolute shocker. And I don't know what it is, because James Collado, isn't brilliant, but he's struggling very much in that Jaguar. I don't know if because he's not had that bad runs at the Berlin track before. It's not his best track. Like, I don't see what's happened with that car, and I don't know whether some drivers have necessarily not taken it too easy over lockdown, but not necessarily picking up as sharply as others. Like Da Costa is on it like a car bonnet from the moment we've started.
So I'd like somebody like Mitch or Stoffel or Maximilian Gunther to pick it up and fight Antonio for this championship.
I'm going to ask you one last question, and it's your predictions of who do you think are going to win the next 4 races, and who do you think is going to take the championship?
Obviously, before the season started, I said Mitch Evans to win the championship. Then I said Maximilian Gunther. Seeing what I've seen now, obviously we've got a bit more of an insider. I would probably say, I think Antonio's going to win another race for sure. I would like to see Stoffel Van Dorn get up there. I don't know whether Nick's going to win a race, but he's definitely going to get on the podium. Andre Lotterer, I think he's got a good chance. I think the Envisions have got a good chance. I know I'm saying half the grid, but it's really difficult in Formula E to predict. But championship, I think it's going to go to Antonio Felix Costa. He's so far ahead as it is. I just think if he carries on like this, and if Diaz carry on like this, as we said, Verner's nowhere near him in the points, I think he's got it. I think he's got it in the bag.
I agree. I think this is now Da Costa's championship to lose. Like, unless the car short circuits or he crashes out the last 4 remaining races, he's going to take that championship easy. I think he'll ace it and qualify. Although hopefully Group 1 will have a bit more luck, because he seems to be the only one ever to get out of Group 1.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go Van Dorn's going to win a race, because I think he's definitely showing very pacey. I think Mitch Evans might have more luck on the longer Berlin configuration. I think maybe he can have that bit which will catch a lot of drivers out. I'm going to go Lotterer to win a race. Sam Bird will get on the podium again, I think. I think Sam Bird's not to say championship hopefully anymore, but I think he's very much going to show promise, especially going into the Jaguar next year. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Keira. It's been a pleasure. So
thank you very much.
We'll leave all her links in the description bar below. So I've been Hannah, that's Keira, and this has been the Purple Sector. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you soon for the next Formula E review and the next Grand Prix review. Bye.